Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here in the live chat. Appreciate it. As we do go along today, feel free to chat along, share your thoughts, opinions, reactions, and talk about a range of other things in the live chat. Today, we're taking a look at the 25th in terms of the timeline of Dylan Rounds leading up to his disappearance. And we have actually taken a look at one area, and that was specifically focusing on where was Chase Venstre when picked up by Dylan. Down Tacoma Road, nearby, from that angle, this angle, where exactly? If you haven't already checked that video out, make sure to do so. I'll provide a link down below in the pinned comment section, okay? In addition, I'll provide the link to the previous video, what I did yesterday. Make sure to check both of those videos out after watching this one, okay? So, yeah, we were looking at different angles of where Chase could have come from and like the distance as well, and looking around the surrounding area too to see why and how and, you know, other points like that. We can actually use that project once again today, so it's mapped out already, and we're going to be focusing this time on the witnesses, right? Because a few people have been a little bit, you know, confused or like wondering what's going on here. Like there was like reports of 3 witnesses seeing Dylan picking up Chase Venstre, and it's like, who, where, like, who are they, where exactly were they? And we can try to make sense of it on the maps. Of course, if people have additional information or know exactly who were the witnesses, feel free to list it down below, of course, in the comment section. We broke new world records yesterday for the fewest amount of comments in a video. When you scroll down, it's fucking dead as fuck. So that's a new record. But yeah, in the live chat, if you have additional thoughts or whatever, make sure to add it in because, you know, it might come in use, okay? And yeah, we just look at the map, we see what's present. For the most part of it, it wouldn't have changed too much. See, like, if there's any trailers nearby, any farms, maybe it's because of that. But I can understand why people would be kind of confused and just like intrigued to why and how, because you think about it, it's kind of convenient how even though it's such a quiet, empty place with a very low population, there seems to be just the right individuals in certain spots at just the right time, but not at the right time of when Dylan was attacked, but of course before that. Such as the other example of witnesses, those campers out there that saw the tractor lights on at Dylan's farm and assumed, oh, that's Dylan, right? That's how it's been worded. I know you can still counter it and say it might have been somebody else in the tractor. My only counterpoint would be, who else would be bothered to do something like that in the dark? You know what I'm saying? So we can get more into that as a whole in the map, right? And that'll be coming very shortly. Later, we'll be taking a look at some material provided by Ellen, almost like a flashback to 2017, the Montello floods. It is relevant to this case, and I will explain very briefly in a second. We got photos, there's a bit of video footage, so you get a perspective and angle, the view of how it looked and how it could look once again if it does happen. Currently, as we know, there's a lot of snow scattered about, right? But, you know, when it melts and it becomes water, there's quite a bit of that, it can cause flooding. And, you know, with Dylan being out there somewhere buried, if it was in a wash, could it impact negatively this search, this investigation that's going on in a certain area? You know, you'd be once again racing against time, racing against like nature, because if it does, you know, flood, or it could wash out, it could get rid of evidence, who knows? You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's relevant, and we can share it with you to show the extent of it. Now, sure, it's Montello, it's not Lucin, but, you know, Lucin has their own washes too, right? You look at the ground at the farm, the grain shed and the puddles, there's a bit of depth to it, and that's filled up and flooded at times. So, you know, but more about that later, okay? The only other thing to just point out is Pancakes has re-uploaded, I believe, the part 1, part 2, not yet part 3, but I'm sure it'll come, interview with Kurt Wadsworth, his first interview with Kurt. I don't know why, because I thought those videos were already up. Does anyone know why? It was uploaded as a live format, but the interview that took place, would have been months ago, was already a live stream. So it's a live stream re-uploaded as a live stream, I think, because it's under the live section. I mean, it could well be it was a pre-existing video, privatized, then made public again. But when you look at when the date of it, or, you know, it says uploaded like 1-2 days ago. And as for at least my experience, when I might have uploaded just a random video in the past, privated it, edited it maybe, then made it public again, it didn't change the date when it was uploaded. It remained the same, which was years back, you know what I'm saying? So it must have been re-uploaded. I don't know why, if the previous video was removed or not, or just to make it relevant so people can rewatch it, but live once again. Could be the case. They're not that long, which is a positive, I guess, like nearly an hour long. I listened to one of them. Was it groundbreaking? I mean, some people say, yeah, you gotta listen back to it, man. And I looked at the part 1 and it was, like that. As for Kurt himself, he didn't seem too drunk, from what I could tell, from what I could hear of. I mean, with it being, I guess, first time impressions almost, and first ever interview with Kurt, things might have been a bit different, but then you fast forward, try doing an interview now, or you listen to the last one, it might not be quite the same, much longer, 6 hours long maybe, and it's a load of blabbering and switching and changing of information. So in the early days, it was a certain way and then it slightly changed, but it could have changed because people wanted it to, or thought of benefiting in some way, and that's why it happened. But was there any key points though from that part 1 interview I heard and listened to? I mean, got to be careful when listening to it, because when I scroll down comment section, someone was like, oh, why are you spreading all this bullshit? And then Pancakes replied saying, this was months ago, months back, which I understand, you know, it's like an old video, old rumours, things being cleared up since, right? For me to do one big analysis of these interviews and bring up several things which may have already been cleared up or debunked, I don't feel it's really adding to the case or helping. It's just time wastage and maybe more confusion. I mean, if there's the odd few key points that do stand out, yeah, I guess we can talk about. Did I notice any big key points that stood out? Well, what Kurt had in his mind, one of which was he believes Candice Cooley made a call to some people to take care of Dylan. I mean, have I come up with that theory without being influenced by what Kurt has said? Yeah, I just briefly juggled it about in a previous video, not going too deep into it. You probably have all your own different reasons, theories and ideas to why that could be the case, and also why it's not the case, right? Another point I heard from that interview was Ed Harshberger, when Brenner stole that .22 caliber rifle, which we heard of, the one which was passed on to Don, and then Don handed it in to police. Interview with FBI grassed up on Brenner, that one. That .22 rifle originally belonged to Ed Harshberger. And I don't know if that's entirely true, but that's what I heard from what Kurt said. Now this is way back then. It's not groundbreaking information which is directly associated with Dylan, but it's an event that did happen at some point, right? And I think we'll introduce it now. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, right? But when it comes to this can apply, okay, so make sure you're listening right now. Make sure you're listening. This can apply to looking back at information or waiting for the next lot to come in. More to do with live streams, interviews and call-ins with all these different people you listen and watch, right? I think when it comes to the rumours and the BS, it tends to be higher and occurs more frequent when it's to do with directly associated with Dylan Rounds and possible explanations for his disappearance and / or events around Dylan Brown's at the time of his disappearance or just after. That's the concentration part of BS, okay, where you've got to be most wary. But if these people that bullshit a lot are telling you a previous event or story which isn't to do with Dylan, such as the 22 rifle, maybe there's a chance there's more truth in it, because, you know, there's no point lying because it's not going to go anywhere. But if you can think ahead and you can pick out the truth in this and that, these scraps, small little scraps, and piece it together, it could form a side puzzle piece which then could apply to Dylan Round's case. So it's like doing extra work, filtering out all of the rubbish, then dealing with the scraps and remains, not literal, piecing it together, making sense of it. So what we can also add in, the situation with Ed Harshberger and Dylan Rounds. From what I've heard, first time impressions, at least when I looked at the Quinton's timeline, Ed Harshberger really respected Dylan. They got on well. But then next thing you know, I'm hearing all over the place, Ed Harshberger hates Dylan, doesn't like him. Ed Harshberger is a bigger con man than Kurt Wadsworth, etc. And you think, oh, that's quite a big contrast. But those little scraps, right, you look at, and it kind of demonstrates it, doesn't it? The example of Ed and Dylan, because it's more directly associated with Dylan, right, and possible outcomes of his disappearance. There's higher chances of rumours. One saying he's good, the other one saying he's bad. Whereas when Dylan's taken out of the picture, an event such as, oh, the rifle that Brenner stole from Ed's trailer or cabin somewhere, could be a bit more truth in it because it's not as important. So basically, to put it in short, the less important events which have supposedly happened in the past could be more truthful, and then the events and moments to do with Dylan could be more false, twisted and exaggerated, right? But it don't mean to say that those less important events are completely useless. They can play a role in some way or another, right? And believe me, with Ed Harshberger, I've not really seen any photos of him. I think Weezer said Ed Harshberger drove at one point a red truck, that he's about 6'1" and slimmer, not as fat as Brenner. So you take that in mind, he will be probably 50 plus years old, most likely in his 60s maybe, if I'm correct in saying. But Weezer said she hasn't seen Ed Harshberger for some time or so. He's not always in the area. Maybe that's the case, right? What I'm trying to infer from, if you've got someone called Ed Harshberger, 6'1", slimmer, you know, in a way, towering over Dylan Rounds, who's only 5'10". 5'10" is a decent height, yeah. But 6'1" is on a different level. I know people can say, yeah, but it's very close. Not quite, okay? So when you got someone like Brenner, who's shorter, but heavier can still be a threat physically. But then someone like Ed Harshberger, who is taller, who's got that leverage, that advantage, the height advantage, the reach advantage, probably. Maybe Ed could have played a role at some point. If there is frustration, arguments going on in the background at the time or in the past, and Ed knows Dylan, Dylan knows Ed, Ed knows Brenna, of course, Brenna knows Ed, you know, these connections, knowing one another, out of one of them, one may well be responsible, such as Brenna, but then the other may well know of information. What I would say is, has anyone questioned why Ed Harshberger hasn't done a polygraph test? Is it because he's just not relevant in the case whatsoever? What are your thoughts? We'll do a poll now. Do you think Ed Harshberger should do a polygraph test? Was it worth it? There's been quite a few other names that have been pulled out of the hat with time, and it's like, are they really relevant? And maybe a fair few people argue that they are, but you know, we haven't really heard too much about them, at least in some areas, okay? You know, people want to add in names into the chat of key people that could be suspicious, feel free to do so. I'm sure there might be some other names in the background which people don't want to release because they've got a different style. That's understandable, okay? What we'll say is, when referring back to the Pancakes interview, the part 1, okay? There's a couple of names juggled about there telling the life story, and it's like, let's skip to the actual part about Dylan, okay? So there's a lot of waffling, right? But with that waffling, it could be a bit more truthful, because I said it's not as important. I think they were talking about Montello, saying to it, I don't know if it was in California. I'm sure I heard the word California used near 7-Eleven or something, where Kurt and someone else came across Montello under a bush with a sign on him saying, I'm a painter or something, or I need work. And then his friend, Kurt's friend, gave him a place to stay at for so many months, but was also supposed to like paint the place, but never did, and was lazy. And it was like, oh, that's supposedly some story. You see, it's not exactly relevant, but you would have heard at least of the name Montello here and there on YouTube, and I think he might have been on maybe a call-in or a live stream. I mean, the problem is, you got guys left, right and centre that have beards, and it's like, who the fuck is who? You know, that guy's got a beard, that guy's got a beard. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, all these names being thrown about, some people see it and think, oh, is that person a suspect? Oh, is that person a suspect? And it's like, no. And it's like, oh, and it's confusing, right? I mean, literally, if you could just put everything to the side and only look at 3 to 4 guys, so someone like Brenna, Chase, Fenster, Don Hately, Kurt Wadsworth, 4 people, and maybe a 5th one, Don Hately, 5 guys, okay? I'm not talking about 5 guys the place you eat. I'm not even talking about 5 guys the type of person Stoney would take on all at once. What I'm saying is, just looking at 5 people within the case would be more than enough, right? 5 people with 5 different backstories, motives maybe, past history, knowledge of Dylan, some kind of connection with Dylan, falling outs, you know, like that. And there was one point I'll just highlight, okay? Not what I've said, but what someone else said in directed, aimed at Quentin, the one that created that timeline. I think he's called Raymond. Now, Raymond has been around for some time on my channel. He might not always appear in the chat, or not at all, but he does leave comments at times and observes the videos. I believe he came from the Kenny Veach case, so one of those observant style people, okay? And when it came to me, obviously doing that little timeline video, one little, it was quite long, Raymond criticised Quentin because either the dates or the names, the way they were spelt, it wasn't quite accurate or something, and it was confusing. That's what they said, okay? I didn't get confused at the time when reading it, but maybe I might have said the wrong name for the wrong event. I don't know. I mean, I was just reading it from what was on screen, okay? We got to understand at times when it comes to covering something unnaturally, where it's like something's been handed over, you read it, you follow it, it's like, okay, appreciate it, and I just read it. I can't always analyse it, because if I haven't known about it before, then I can't analyse it at the same time, unless I know something around it, or a contrasting point of view, a contrasting piece of evidence. You know what I'm saying? That's why we tend to look back with time, such as with those forums. But yeah, I think that'll do for that part, at least with that discussion. I'll probably try and look at part 2 of that interview tomorrow or whenever, if it's still up, if it's not gone anywhere. There's another channel that has shown up which some people seem to take interest in, like Stony Pancakes, with the channel called Sketchy AF, I think. Sketchy as fuck. Okay. I don't know when they exactly appeared, but it's obviously recent. Okay, so if you want to check their videos out, feel free to do so. They are kind of short, but I guess the tone and the atmosphere those videos emit is kind of on a mysterious, anonymous level, maybe a little bit cryptic as well, okay, that type of thing. If you're interested in it, make sure to check it out. Sketchy might even appear in the live chat tonight, so feel free to say hi. I personally don't know who it is, but they haven't caused me any issues at this moment in time, so there's no problems there, okay? I know people still talk about Sleeper Cell. At one point, Sleeper Cell Jan, then the username changed to this and that and that. I can't keep up, okay? I supposedly have come across Sleeper Cell in the past. I guess the one interesting feature about that person, that channel, is when you do mention their name out of nowhere, sometimes they do make their presence known in the chat. They just appear like that, and it's like, wow, were they in the background to begin with? You never know. You never know who's around or who's watching, right? You know, even when we've looked at those menus, we've looked at all that food, Shack Lady could have been drooling in the back, right? Salivating. And other times we've looked at soggy stuff gone wrong. Mr. Pancakes might be there with a tissue to wipe away the tears, okay? Because, you know, a bit of tears, salt does come from there, you know? But yeah, personally, if anyone is unaware, we'll just highlight it once again, because there's no harm in referring back to some points with time, just like with the Ty Corbin situation. When it came to Sleeper Cell, do you know what? When I keep saying Sleeper Cell, I keep almost getting mixed up with Splinter Cell, the video game by Tom Clancy. Got to stop thinking that. But in the past, Sleeper Cell was misunderstood, that he thought I was against him in a negative way, that I was going after him. And I was like, what? Don't even know who this person is. What the hell's going on? And it was cleared up. They realised, oh, you're not the enemy. I don't know how it started or where it came from, I'll be honest, but I think it's still ongoing, right? Theories going about saying, oh, this person's responsible, oh, that person's responsible for this and that going on in the background. Who knows? But I'm just doing my own thing, okay? Trying to keep the case alive, that's it. As for the drama coverage, sometimes that's directly linked within the Dylan Rounds case. So you gotta go at it, right? So who knows who will show up in the chat tonight, if people will be on good behaviour or not, but I guess we'll see as we do go along. As for Stony, I think she's got through more usernames than Weedleby has with meals in a day. You're doing well, Stony. You're breaking new records as we speak. Unbelievable. I think the Shack Lady wanted me to do some video edit or something. Oh wow. You know, knowing my luck with my editing, I've had to downgrade. Yeah, I've had to become a basic bitch, a basic little slut. Yeah, Warlike Ref is now a slut, okay? Can't even perform or produce high quality stuff. Why? because of all the fake, dodgy copyright claims, as you know, with that countdown timer. The only way of knowing whether it's copyright or not is by, using copyright-free footage, uploading it, and then finding out, oh, it's copyright claimed, even though it said it was copyright-free. And sure, things might change in the background with time, but so should the websites which provide that stuff, okay? They failed to do that, right? Back on YouTube, I used to get stock footage from there. I can understand why third party may claim copyright, because a random nobody may have uploaded copyrighted footage and titled it copyright free. And then, the cycle continues. I understand that, how you could get flagged there. But if you're going on proper websites, sourcing out copyright free footage, you should be able to use it. And you don't want to spend hours upon hours editing and then find out, oh, it's copyrighted. So then you've got to redo it all over again or delete a portion of the clip. And some people can say, that's okay, just take it out. Well, yeah, it might be okay if it's at the very beginning of the video, such as a countdown, but if it's halfway through a video as you're narrating and you cut it out, it's going to be 1 minute you're talking about dogs, the next minute you're talking about getting, burnt, set on fire in a volcano. And it's like, how do you go from that to that? There's no context in between, because the copyrighted material, which included the audio, the narration and everything, has been stripped away. So to avoid that happening again, obviously you got to cut back on edits. So if I started editing this person, that person, they'll probably all get copyright strike. I'll probably end up indirectly, accidentally shutting everyone down on YouTube. That'd be a disaster, but at the same time, it's one of those things where people are trying to get other people taken away from YouTube, and then I just come in and just casually do it myself. Not planned. But yeah, I don't know what that footage was or how long it was. I'm busy doing my videos, of course, as well as other roadblocks going on as well with it'd be technology, connection, upload time, YouTube glitching, a lot of weird stuff happens. I think some people still get very defensive when it comes to comments disappearing. Everyone just instantly zones in and thinks that it's the channel owner that's removing comments when it's actually YouTube. It's messy, and then people end up losing their minds, especially within the mystery and true crime case videos. If a comment disappears, everyone's like, oh no, I'm being silenced. Oh, YouTube, oh, this, oh, I've been blacklisted. Oh no, what's going on? It's like, calm down. It's just stupid, spasmodic YouTube, that's all. Okay, you use the correct word in and maybe paste a link, but put a little extra character in or space it out, so then it's no longer a proper HTML blue clickable link, and it's just text. And then it says remove this little letter and then paste it elsewhere. You could get around it in some way, right? There's always a way, in a way. Oh my God, that cat running across grass. Right, so with that all out the way, okay, welcome if you're still here, or more so, welcome if you've just joined, okay? What we are going to be looking at now is the map of Utah. Maria doesn't like me saying Utah. For that, we're going to be looking at Utah, and also Montello, Nevada, right? We just look at it more near Tacoma Road, of course, and just talk it as we go through. It's really the best way to do it. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, it looks like a sticker bomb, a collection of all kinds of random dots and colours. I can kind of explain it to you on the spot, all right? So what I've incorporated is, down here is to do with the 25th, okay? 25th of May, Dylan coming across Chase Fenster for the first time, supposedly speaking, okay? And giving him a lift, right? Surrounding area all over here is more to do with Lucin and places of interest, okay? Whether they still apply now or just at least did back then, just wanting to incorporate it, because if there's any places of interest nearby to this whole situation on the 25th, it could explain to why there was witnesses present. Okay, so that's why I wanted to tie it all in. Now, down here, the white markers are more unknown objects, okay? The black markers are potential ways Chase Fenster could have come, arrived at, okay, came from, wherever he was running away, okay? The blue marker directly here with the stars to do with the Tacoma Road, that section. Green marker is just brief border highlight, we cross over. And then these are like fast travel points, like what you see in video games, Lucin, Dillon's farm ahead, if you go right. And then Montello, if you carry on going left and eventually reach it down here, okay? I just wanted to cram it all in without it being too confusing. As for these red markers, I believe these were just places of interest as well regarding that, okay? As for the outer section, which is over here, the blue markers, okay, are just places of interest. The orange ones are more to do with Dillon, okay? The event with Dillon, his farm, the grain shed, the waterhole. And then the digger was like a possible question, was that used? As for the green markers, they're to do with the ponds in the area, like down there, as you see. And then quite a few scattered around here. I don't know how significant they are within the case up to now, but, you know, if there's any markers here you want looking back at, for whatever reason, feel free to say. They are numbered, okay? I know they're a bit all over the place. I think it goes up to number 30 from the looks of it. I think that's the case. Number 30. So from 1 to 30, give a few numbers, and if you want them to be taken a look at, can do. I don't know if, like, Ty Corbin watched the original video, but as I said, I can provide a link down below in the comment section, right? So, with that all out the way, let's just zone back in here and focus. We'll rotate it this way because it just seems a bit easier to look at for some reason. So I guess we're facing south. Flip the image as well with it being 3D. Okay. So, brief little rundown. Okay. We got Lucin on this side. Coming down this dirt road. Crossing the border, which is at this point here. The overhead lines where it begins, or it connects at, which goes into Lucin, and also Montello, as you see. Those overhead lines, right? And then we've got a blue line here, which is branches off as like a little shortcut to get to Tacoma Road. Or literally turning off here and going to Tacoma Road. Now, it's mainly been described as a gravel path. If I'm correct in saying, with Chase Fenster, Dillon came across Chase, across a gravelled path, and such, picked him up, and then took him to Montello. I mean, if you have any other questions regarding Chase Fenster and that whole event, you know, feel free. And this is the thing. Whilst outsiders and others can criticise people for covering past history and past cases of events, with people may be tied up in the case and say it's not relevant, how does it help solve it? Well, you know, those people and even family members have zoned in, focused, and referred constantly back to the Chase Fenster situation, which was before Dillon went missing, which arguably doesn't directly link to his disappearance, but can play a role in some way or another if you think about it. Same can be applied to all the other events and cases if you think and look hard enough without forcing it. So was it literally down Tacoma Road where Chase Fenster was? Because that's how it was worded in the past. And then along the way, when I heard people referring back to it, they said near Tacoma Road. So near, what? Here? Or here? Or more here? Right? There's a fair bit of land, right, in between. When you think about it, Montello is down there. We'll do a quick distance check Okay, so somewhere like there to there. It's just a rough one. About 9 miles. 9 miles Montello is, right? So if you're in Montello, you're a local, you can drive 9 miles all the way down to Tacoma Road to witness the stuff going on, right? Now, of course, you have the highway. Is this the highway? Yes, this is one of the main highways, main roads. You see it runs into Montello, goes into Lucin, but you see it's on a bend, it goes away from Dylan's farm, okay? You are able to do street view though, okay? So that's something, but it's away from everything. Though it did come in handy either in yesterday's video or the one before that when we were looking at that wash, because if you keep following this highway, it does eventually cross over like a bridge where the wash is below it, and that's one from Grouse Creek, okay? But as we just look in this area, it's pretty empty, right? I think we can do a street view in a second if we just get a little bit more closer. You do have these dirt roads that do branch off, which cross over the railway track, 2 of them, and then you get to this point here. Well, if you go left, you're going to go to Tacoma Road, and you turn right. Well, you can kind of get to Montello, but you're on the wrong side. What do we have here, though? Interesting. Not really seen this one before. We've just got a random car, I assume parked up, or maybe it's driving at the time, but this is a still photo, still shot. What's a car like this doing here? Is it just passing through? Whose is it? Look at this area. It's like a patchiness, isn't it? Patchy. What's going on in this area, huh? Got some stuff there. Don't know if it's bits of rubble, debris. Huh. Do we have any street view circular orbs to look at? No, we don't. That's a shame. Huh. How do I get rid of that white thing? There we go. Do I have to tap there? Why does it say load in street view when it's not going to do anything? How do we get rid of it? Yeah, no. Do I press that up there? Ah, there we go. I didn't want to press that arrow top left corner of the screen because when I've done it in the past, it like goes into the projects and then it closes the screen. But let me just drop the coordinates at least so you can see it here. Now this is 2019 imagery, again, but as we've seen before in the past, when it's come to coming across a suspect's vehicle, we have done so like with Brenner's. So if anyone knows whose vehicle this is, feel free to make notes of it, but this is the coordinates for it. And it's not too far away from up here, or should I say down there, right? I'm just trying to get a feel for levels of activity in the area, right? Because if we want to do like a little comparison of there's at least 3 people in this area, whether it be here, near to the roadside where Dylan picked up Chase, or it could have been somewhere down here maybe, depending if Dylan was literally driving all the way down to Tacoma Road. Or it could be a little bit further down here. Wherever it was, 3 different people. Now, you could even argue and say the 3 people may have not been separate, right? They could all have been together, like a group of guys or whatever gender or a mix of them in one car, one truck, just driving by. They all looked out the window and saw it unfold. That's one way you could look at it. Another way could be just people just spread out, either in the same area or one north, one east, one south, you know. Do you think it's convenient? Do you think it's a little weird or odd that there was 3 people to witness it? Yeah, I guess we can do like a little poll right now. With that, I'll try and word it more appropriate or a bit clearer to understand. As for a comparison, at least, though, with Montello being nearby, you could kind of understand there might be a presence of people coming and going, right? Just passing through, visiting, or actually living there, driving about, going on a drive. There's some levels of activity. To put in comparison, though, with the likes of Lucin here, the likes of Lucin Airport, which is down here, roughly quoted by Ivor Zodowski, his time living here by himself for several years, he's not really come across too many people. You know, you wouldn't expect it because really not many people live in this area at all. It's called a ghost town for a reason, and more so than ever now because of what's gone down. Dylan not being present, Brenna being in jail, and Dawn moving away. So is Ivor Zadowski the only guy left in Lucin? Does anyone know? Does anyone know the true population figure as of right now? If you do, list it down below. If Christopher Lloyd is here, he can, share his thoughts too, because, yeah. But what I'm trying to get across, because there's not really many people in Lucin, right? And Ivor Zadowski has said it himself. Not many people that pass by, the odd camper, maybe the odd hiker here and there. Don't you think it's a bit convenient, though, how there was someone camping on the 27th? Somewhere down here, I assume, because of Dylan's farm in this area. And the other point I just want to add in quickly, due to the acreage, right? What was it, like 470 acres? Something like that? The grandfather owning. How much of this area is private land? Whether it be Dylan or the grandfather owning it or somebody else. How much of this area is private land? As for these dirt roads, are they private roads or can anyone use them? Flip the image so you can see. There's Dylan's farm here. You got a road that goes north, road that goes west towards the route if you used to go to the grain shed. South, sorry about this. South you got the Little Pigeon Mountain, and interestingly there is a pond very nearby. Didn't make note of that in my previous video I did when we were looking at high probability places by Ty Corbin. And this is why these past projects are very useful and handy when referring back, right? Of course, and we can check that in a second. But how much of this area is private land? Are you allowed to go on it or not? Because if you're not allowed to be in this area, then how and why were those campers nearby to see the tractors? Could also say, how far away were they, right? I mean, if you're some distance away in the desert, because it's so vast, and you can see the dust trails produced by cars miles away. The shack lady said like 8 to 11 miles away, she could see cars in the distance with the tracks, trails, and the dust showing, Then I guess, like in the middle of the night and you're camping out so far away and you see the lights turned on somewhere of some machinery, you hear about the case of Dylan, you might reach out to Candice and say, yeah, in that direction we saw tractor lights turned on, we assumed someone was farming. Candice Cooley would say, that probably would have been Dylan because over there is Dylan's farm. And then the campers may have said, okay, well, there you go. And then Candice Cooley is like, well, thank you for being a witness and clarifying it with us to prove that. But who are these witnesses, right? I know maybe you keep the names private for a reason. Are any of these witnesses going to appear in court in the future? Or is that not needed? Whether it be the witnesses on the 25th, which we'll get back to in a second, or the witnesses of those campers, the 27th, what happens to them? Is that it, or there's more to it? That's all I'm interested in. Just as a whole, it just feels a little bit weird how in such a dead, isolated, quiet place, the people turn up at the right time to be able to say, oh yeah, this is where Dylan was at. But no one's around the day after. And the other point I just want to add in, those campers who were able to see Dylan's farm being in action late at night, where did they go the following day? Because, you know, it's at night time, the camping out there, the sleeping. What, the following day, did they just drive off? Where did they go? Like, at what time did they leave the place? Or did they stay there till the next day? Because if they saw at night action going on at the farm, did they witness Dylan getting out of his trailer the next morning? Did they witness anyone going back to the farm later on in the day? You know what I'm saying? These important questions, and I might have to do a separate video for this, and it's kind of annoying because they are building up a little bit, and I don't want to mix them all together once again because it just confuses the matter, but I think I need at least one day to upload at least 1 or 2 separate short videos asking these questions. Dedicated video. You get what I'm saying? Unless people can clear it up in the chat right now, that would help as well. You're welcome to if you want, but if it needs a dedicated video, I guess I'll do that. Because those campers were there to see it before Dylan went missing. Were they also there when he went missing? That's my question. So with such a quiet place and yet the people appear at the right time, makes you think. So then we refer back to down here, the main subject of the matter, the 25th, right? Down here, you got one route, which doesn't really go anywhere. It just kind of like circles around that bend, kind of pointless, you get me? Number 2, just branches off all the way into the distance over that way, with Brenner's trailer being ahead over that way, more south. Number 3, kind of coming over that like mountain, that ridge, whatever you call it, a little bit steep though, which just goes off into the distance once again. So you get the ideas of the different ways Chase could have been running from. And even if that wasn't the case, the alternative, what I added in was, if he wasn't running away up to Tacoma Road and it was more near to Tacoma Road, it could have been somewhere over this way, which was in the distance, but got to be realistic because you got the train tracks there, railroad, and then I think the wash down here. I mean, just the terrain itself is rough. I mean, this is the thing. People say, oh, Dylan Rounds wouldn't walk in the desert without shoes unless he was forced to. Yeah, possibly, but, you know, just as a standalone case study, whatever the reason was, by choice or not, Chase Fenster managed. He managed to run through the desert. Now, how badly damaged or injured was his feet? That bad, or just a few cuts and bruises? Because you think about all the rocks out there, unstable ground, seems a little bit rough, right? But he managed. But then again, that fight or flight kicking in. So, with that in mind, should we take a closer look at these possible places? I'll zoom in quickly for these white ones, in case you wonder what they are. This here, I guess it's to do, I don't know how to quite word it, but it doesn't, I just see a bird then, what the hell? It doesn't seem like a place where someone would live. More to do with signals, communications, you know, stuff like that. And I think there's like a mast there as well, a little black one. Where's the other white marker added? Down here. It's like a box or a crate. Don't know what that is. It doesn't look like a bunker. Could be for feeding, filled with water, who knows, just in a bit of a odd area. If any of you know, you can share your thoughts. I just wanted to get these out the way now. Do we have any others? Yeah, we got this one down here. Can you see? Got like another container. Just rotate it around a little bit. You can see the shadows coming off it, so it does look to be a container of some sort. A little small storage unit maybe. Appears to be some wood nearby. I mean, it doesn't have to be so much places where people would stop at or live, but if it's like a little collection point or for storage, you might have had someone in the area, a farmer, some kind of worker, just coming by, checking in on the place, and then notice in the distance Chase, Fenster and Dylan. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Not meant to happen, but it just tied in. And you got that collection of wood, I think. From one angle, it looks more like coffins. Nah, it's slightly wood or tracks. One or the other. Overhead line there, near the black marker. Where was that other one? Oh yeah, further down this way. Got a container here, right? The more I think about it, is it a container? Or is it an RV trailer? Because there's like 2 dots on top. There seems to be something sticking out the side of the trailer, like a little canopy. I wonder if this is an RV. Because I know some people were saying that you got to look for the little markers on top of the roof that can give it away. Do any of you know what this is? Is it an RV trailer or is it just a container like a cargo crate? What do you think? Because looking at the size of it, I can see like black outlines, almost like windows. It's kind of confusing. Drop the coordinates anyway, right? So whether this is for storage or for living in, you could argue that maybe if someone's out there squatting or not, they may have witnessed what was going on in the distance. Not far away, more south, near Bald Eagle Canyon. Do we have any photos? No? That's a shame. As you see here, we've got all these black dots and brown ones are of like cows or bulls, okay, animals. And here, looks like a little pond area, some kind of station where they can get water from, okay. Not really seen much wildlife on the satellite imagery, so that's one of the unique points I highlighted in the past. So, how far away are these places from Tacoma Road? Well, like this container or RV, although kind of blindsided by it on the other side of that mountain, which drops down into Tacoma Road, if Chase was running past in this area, they might have seen him. Check the distance from there. Oops. You do it straight over, we'll do like a rough, no, we won't do it very rough. Something like that. About 2 miles, 2 to 3 miles away. Can you see 2 to 3 miles in the distance in the desert? Possibly. Yeah. Could you make out the faces of the people? Probably not. But you'd be able to see something happening if you're in the right area at the right angle. Was there any other places? Well, here, which is kind of near to this railroad track on this main dirt road, which would, if you carried on that way, you do pass Tacoma Road and you do enter Lucin. Here we do have a farm. So you never know, this farm, some of the farmhands, some of the workers on site or leaving to go elsewhere may have seen Dylan's truck, right? That's another way of looking at it. And because of, looks like there might be the odd RV trailer parked up here as well, like that one there. And there's a couple of vehicles as well parked up, right? You look over that way. Is it still a blind spot? Yeah, it is. It is actually a blind spot because of this bloody, what do you call it, mountain or hill. It blinds the vision. So that farm over there, and you're down here in this little valley, if you call it that, on this land, they can't see you, can they? If you're roughly here in this area, they can't quite see you. If you're literally on this dirt road, then maybe they can see you. So it just depends exactly where Chase was stood. That's what determines who can see and who can't. And as well, as I said, if it's just a simple person driving by on this dirt road, driving like this, they may have seen Dylan's car. Can I put a marker down? No, I can't. They may have seen Dylan's car parked somewhere like in this area, near to that dirt road. There's certain angles where you can be detected, okay? Is there anything else to take a look at? There's this here, which is in parallel to Tacoma Road, very nearby. Not sure what this is, but if anyone does know, someone like Ellen, someone like Weezer, someone like Ty maybe, feel free to say. Is it like some kind of collection point where you'd collect things, where trailers park up? Not quite sure. Seems kind of empty at this moment in time. There is some kind of buildings going on. I don't think they're abandoned. Yeah. I just called it a potential barn because it kind of looked like it, or some kind of hangar of some sort. But yeah, if this is in use at the time, someone visiting, doing a job, they can see over that way. This is like the best angle. If someone was present, they've got the best view from Lucin, Dylan approaching, crossing the border there, and then reaching Tacoma Road. And even if it wasn't from that way, cutting over the mountains, I think past Bald Eagle Mountain, Patterson Pass possibly, driving down to Tacoma Road, and then eventually going down that way to drop off Chase. I mean, the only other way you could interpret it, and then it's kind of like, well, that's obvious, but I'll say it anyway. Let's say no one saw Dylan pick up Chase, but they saw Dylan drop off Chase, so they assumed that Dylan must have picked up Chase somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because Chase supposedly said to Dylan that he wants to be taken to Montello, which is a little bit odd because it looked like the direction Chase was coming from was he was running away from that area or nearby. So I don't know why you'd want to return back if something happened there. And on top of it, if someone like Kurt Wadsworth doesn't like you and some others, why would you want to go back there? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. It's a bit of a long way when you drag with your finger, but once you get there, okay, that's the only other point I want to know, because I didn't really hear much after it. What happened with Chase Fenster once he got dropped off here by Dylan? Did Chase go into Cowboy Barn Grill, Saddle Saw Bar to get a drink, some food? Did he stop at a neighbour's? Did he get some new clothes? Did he get some new shoes? What did he do here? What was the purpose of going back to Montello? Right? That's what I want to know. Because as we heard with Fenster, he's been kind of out and about all over the place, from passing through Montello to Ogden to Park Valley here and there, and then of course on the 28th being at the Flying J's Snowville, which is some distance away. That's all I want to know. He seems to be on the move quite a bit, fair enough, but what was his main intention here? Was he trying to steal something so then he could get away in his own vehicle despite not owning it? If anyone knows, feel free to add along, because it kind of becomes a blank at this moment. But yeah, with the neighbourhood, the people present may have seen Dylan dropping off Chase. All I would say is, if there are people, locals, some of them at least, maybe like Kurt, that doesn't like chase Venstre, and maybe some others, if people saw Dylan helping chase Venstre, could some of the locals assume that Dylan knows something, or that maybe Chase Venstre told Dylan something, and then they thought Dylan knew too much? Or even on a more vague scale, did they assume that maybe Dylan, with helping Venstre, almost became a friend? And then when you're a friend of an enemy, you become an enemy too in the eyes of others? Could that be another way of looking at it? Let me know your thoughts. I guess we can do another poll right now around that. Do you think with Dylan assisting Chase Venstre, did that somehow cause Dylan to go missing the day after, a couple of days afterwards? What do you think? I mean, I guess one thing to take in mind, of course, without getting too lost on the point, it was the 25th when this happened. And the 26th, 27th over that time frame, 2 days after, Dylan did return back here. So if there's any talk, any discussions, it would have been made clear. Like, did Dylan Rounds tell Kurt Wadsworth about what he did? I mean, this is the thing what we've also got to take in mind, right? Should we do Street View whilst we're talking? Maybe. Just for the sake of it. Fast forward the day after, the 26th. Dylan's in this area, which he was, and hanging around Kurt Wadsworth. Was Dylan the first one to open up to Kurt Wadsworth? Right? Look at it this way. Candice Cooley eventually found out about the Chase Venstre situation, but not immediate. Because when Dylan did contact her, it was more to do with, I just found some crazy guy on the side of the road, but I ignored him. I didn't pick him up because Candice Cooley knew that Dylan knew that she would be maybe kind of angry at him for doing something like that because it's irresponsible. Okay? Maybe Dylan's a helpful, nice person, but sometimes being too helpful, too nice can make you vulnerable and prone to being screwed over, used, and if not, worse. And in this case, someone at some point may have argued that point and said that's what could have happened, got taken advantage of. Like a hitchhiking situation, it can go wrong at times, right? So to avoid that worry and that stress of Candice Cooley, Dylan kept quiet. And this is where it kicks in, right? Maybe people have mentioned it before, but we'll say it again. And people can agree or disagree. Feel free to add your thoughts down below. If Dylan had a certain routine and Candice Cooley supposedly knew about that routine, okay? Yet not being from the area, not knowing the people in the area and being clueless of that and day-to-day life out there. And sure, Dylan may have not been out there too much, but, you know, the contacts he's been around, the people he's spoken with, Candice Cooley didn't know of them immediately, or at least beforehand, so kind of a stranger to all that. With Dylan maybe spending more time than usual at Kurt's place for company, to hang out, you know, sharing a beer or two, him having his own beer supposedly, Kurt Wadsworth said, but Dylan's beer was too warm, Kurt having his own beer, maybe getting drunk, maybe revealing the truth about stuff in one's life, you never know. Building up some kind of connection, maybe some kind of trust, if you want to go that far of saying it. You might be wondering where this is going. I just feel that maybe Dylan told Kurt things he's never told Candice Cooley. I'm not going on about the whole relationship thing, that dodgy stuff. I'm just talking about sometimes stuff you say to a friend, you might not say to family members. And stuff you might say to family members, you may not say to outsiders. You get what I'm saying? And with Dylan being out there for a certain amount of time, right? He may have experienced or witnessed things which the family doesn't know about. And you may never know because, well, you'll never know because Dylan isn't here to tell those stories or to confess with previous past things, right? But maybe Kurt Wadsworth does know. I'm not talking about things directly to do with Dylan going missing, but just random stuff and stories in the past, whether it be the odd little scuffle, the odd little fight, the odd little falling out, I don't know. Could be anything, right? But obviously Kurt keeping tight-lipped in a way, such as not doing the polygraph test, doesn't help. I just feel that, and when you add it in with people's thoughts, where maybe Candice Cooley didn't truly know Dylan how she thought she did, but maybe Kurt knew more about Dylan than what Candice Cooley did in that period, that spell of time Dylan was down here in this area and also farming as well, further afar. That's what I think. And I feel that possibly, like, if we're talking like 26th, 27th of May, just a day or two before Dylan actually went missing, and a day after the Chase Fenster situation, maybe Dylan did tell Kurt about it. And with Dylan not really knowing Chase Fenster, depends if conversations were brought up previous to that. Maybe when Dylan mentioned the name, Kurt was like, oh, you helped Chase Fenster. Oh. Maybe something started ticking inside. You never know. You get what I'm saying? Because it seems clear that Kurt didn't really like Venstra. With the trouble in the past, with the events in Montello and nearby, Kurt wanted, riddance to Venstra, but also, I think, Aviles too. And with Dylan kind of getting caught up in the firing line, in a sense, not literally, did Dylan accidentally make himself a target in the matter? That Kurt felt like, well, if Chase Venstra needs to go, so does Dylan. You could think that, but then it's like, well, when they had a chance, why did they not truly take out Dylan then? Whatever Venstra was doing for him to be running through the desert in the first place, whoever was in the presence of him before Venstra escaped, they may have had the opportunity to take him out there, but they didn't. So that's like another thought. Aside from that, I believe it's more so on Saturday the 28th, and we refer back to it once again, and maybe the Shack Lady may have debunked it or cleared it up, but I can't quite remember, so I just briefly point it out. Black Dove, who's been classified by the odd person as a conspiracy guy who spreads rumours and all that. I'm not saying it, that's what other people have said. Black Dove said on a Saturday that there was like a person on the lookout in the area, looking around, waiting for something. That was a rumour going about, but where exactly? Who knows? But you see the pattern. A lookout here, a witness there, a camper here, 3 people there. They're just all in these little spots, and it's like, what are they? Are they just stationed there at that moment, or they're just simply passing by? It's just a little bit weird, right? And I think maybe this discussion with Black Dove about the person on the lookout, that might have been where it tied in with what the Shack Lady said previous as well, about how, yeah, well, you've got a vast area, you've got a long road, okay, a lot of mileage, but you can see for some distance, and if you're a lookout just by the roadside, wherever that may be, and you can see ahead if any cars are approaching, any dust trails. The same with, just zoom over here, if you're at the grain shed, depending which way, of course, because I'm not as familiar with this area, from certain angles, you'll probably see the roads ahead, won't you? From certain angles. Whether it be the back roads, that probably shows a lot more, to be fair. if you're Brenner or someone and you're on this land taking care of Dylan or in the process, you see that long road down that way going south and a car's approaching, coming to you north, you might be like, shit, right, we got to like move things quick. We got to get on with stuff before this car arrives. You can see in the distance. You get a time frame. You get an opportunity to act quick or speed up on something, right? It's like a heads up in advance. Now, if you had a lookout that was in Montello, Nevada, how useful is that? Well, as long as they have a phone, they can just like call someone like Brenner up and say, hey, there's someone approaching, there's someone coming, you gotta hurry up now. From the looks of it, no one did turn up, so I guess no calls were made, but that possibility that if anything did happen or go wrong, there is someone out there looking over the suspect in the process. You get what I'm saying? So I think the theme in general today has been the witnesses, the people just at the right place at the right time, all until the day it happened, which is very unfortunate. Now, another question I have, is there any other witnesses, any other people, post-disappearance that were present nearby the area, right? Another point I want to add in, and maybe it can be done as a poll, I don't know if it's too soon though. Do you feel that even though with this length of time that's gone on, but regardless of time, whether it be back then, now, or the future, is there any other locations that should or should have had CCTV cameras? I'm not talking about Dylan's farm and his trailers, because Jim Terry supposedly already highlighted that point and suggested that they should set up some cameras, which never happened, which obviously was unfortunate. You know, it could have revealed something. Just like the situation with Ty Corbin and that place of his being broken into and the door kicked in. No cameras there to, you know, show who was responsible for it. You get what I'm saying? But put aside those places. Put aside Dylan's farm and the grain shed. Is there anywhere else you think CCTV cameras would have come in handy? Whether it be trail cams, CCTV cameras, ballpoint ones, whichever. It doesn't matter. Is there anywhere else you would have wanted them placed, right? You know, it can apply to before Dylan went missing or afterwards. Just list it down below. I will give you some options, I guess, in the poll. You choose which one, and I'll provide another one which says something else, and then you list it down below in the chat yourself, an actual location, whether it be a named place or a type of place, in a building, in a wash, you know, something like that. Just want to know your thoughts about it. Okay. Let's just return back over here. So hopefully up to now, it kind of makes sense by what I'm talking about with this area and trying to make sense of where these witnesses were at the time to be able to see what went on. Because if they've not been named, not much else has come out of it. It could be just people from the area, locals, or just passing by, or there could be more dodgy reasons. I mean, the situation with the trail cams, right? If you had some kind of conspiracy, right? That you thought Candice Cooley, sorry, that was just a drink then. That you thought that Candice Cooley may have been in on it in some way. That some people believe in Candice Cooley called for Dylan to be taken out like some kind of contract killing. If that really was the case, you could argue and then say that, well, that's probably why they didn't listen to Jim Terry and put the cameras out there. They probably knew it was a good idea, but decided not to bother, right? Because if they left the cameras out there, then it would incriminate whoever, and then it might impact them. That's just one way of looking at it, okay? What I do want to do just briefly, so apologies about this, before I forget, I just want to go back to Dylan's farm. If I can find it. Oh, got the chop shop over there. Just back down here, okay? Like when we were talking about Ty Corbin and he said, Little Pigeon Mountain. There you go, Little Pigeon Mountain there, this surrounding area. And we did take a look nearby, and it's along this dirt road going south. We can even check the distance of it from Dylan's farm. Dylan has his own like pond here, if you call it that, which fills up at times. Put this down here. 4,648 feet away. We're not really getting into the true mileage. Well, if you just move it a little bit forwards, it's just under a mile, okay? Just under a mile south of Dylan's farm, there is a pond which is near to Little Pigeon Mountain, okay? So it is within the area of what Ty Corbin suggested as a high probability area. Now, has it been searched? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. And in the last video I did to do with this area, we were looking around the surrounding area to see was there any opportunities to dispose of anything, right? And I couldn't find anything. But because this marker from a older video is present, as you see here, this clearing, right? As you see, you got Little Pigeon Mountain there, right next to the dirt road, right next to this dirt road, and over that way, which winds on, carry on north, you get to Dylan's farm. So Dylan could have driven down here if he wished to, or the suspect could have when getting a hold of Dylan's vehicle, okay? Why do I feel that there's a possibility that there could be something around here? That's if it's not been searched. Drop you the coordinates. There you go. I mean, it's a pond, right? It's slightly shallow, yep. Could it be dried up? Not quite sure. Here, it's not dried up from the looks of it, but it's 2019. Depends how it looks at the time of the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, whenever, right? But they're the coordinates on screen. Ty Corbin, if you're here right now, feel free to answer, has this area, which is under a mile south of Dylan's farm, near to Little Pigeon Mountain. Has it been searched? Yes or no? And this is the key thing, right? Put that aside for a second. If people were like, yeah, but Dylan's probably not going to be put here. He's probably going to be buried in the ground. Yeah. Well, if this hadn't been searched, then you never know. Anything could be possible. And if you just want to reinforce it just for the simple fact that Dylan's phone, whether it be planted or just dumped and disposed of at Lucin Pond, and evidence was found there, and supposedly in recent time evidence was found in a wash, all water related areas, right, where water collects, gathers, appears, arrives, whichever. So there's a possibility that this one was used in some way too, because with it being like kind of like ground level, surface level, encroaching into the water, is there a possibility that suspect went to Dylan's farm, got a hold of the vehicle, drove down here, down the back roads, on the dirt track, drove round, parked up maybe, gone slightly into the water and rolled Dylan in to conceal him in some way? Do you think that's a possibility or not? Or even just the possibility that maybe there could be the odd bit of evidence dumped down here, or even like the bags may have been dumped down here, the bin bags. Who knows? I just think it's interesting considering it's near to the place Ty Corbin classified as a high probability place, and this seems like an opportunistic part. Yeah. Once again, I feel like this could be a standalone video in itself. You know, like really short 1-2 minute videos, and then tag someone to see how they respond. Maybe. Once again, if people are watching, the right people right now, and they can clear it up, then that's good. But if the correct people aren't present right now, then it needs to be highlighted more and focused on. And I keep saying what I say in these clips because it's to remind myself afterwards. If I rewatch this, which obviously I do with the live chat, rewatch it, remind myself and note it down afterwards, just in case I forget. You see the distance between the two, right? Pond and Dylan's farm. Yeah. I mean, I have talked about a pond with Dylan, but that was to do with this one, right? Not that one from what I know of. So I think we've looked as much as what we can in the area. With a farm presence being down here, there'll be activity. With it being near to a main dirt road in which people do pass by, maybe not high amounts, but the odd person, there's that to take in mind. With down here, literally onto Tacoma Road, whether it be a little shed, a shack, some kind of building, there is yet another car parked up here, right? And whilst it's stationary, there must be someone present, either doing work, collecting something, right? So as long as there's someone in the area nearby, that could well be one of the witnesses. And just to clarify once again, this imagery is 2019, so it's not directly relevant to the day or the year, but it highlights that there is a presence in the area. And with time, if people show up at the right place, the right time, they could well be the witness, okay? But you could also say there's a level of blindness as well. You might be wondering, what do you mean by a level of blindness? Well, when it came to Brenner's trailer down here blowing up, right? I think some said nighttime or so. Brenner's vehicle's down here, okay? That one there. By the time when it did blow up and Brenner wasn't nearby because he was out somewhere, okay? It would have made a sound, right? An explosion sound. You would have seen smoke, you would have seen fire. And if it was at night time where it's even quieter, not only would it have been amplified the sound and, echoed through, so people would have heard it better. It would have disturbed maybe animals, etc., wildlife, farm life. Would have been bright, illuminated the sky, you would have seen the smoke, the clouds and everything, right? And yet not far away, you've got, near East Canyon, you've got this farm with an RV trailer here, cars parked up, I think another RV trailer there. There are people present. So wouldn't have they have heard, seen it at the time? You know what I'm saying? Did they go down to inspect it? Not from the looks of it, not from what I've heard. Is there anyone else? Yeah. Here. Yeah, another farm from the looks of it. It looks like you got some trailers, some vehicles parked up. Yep, there. That looks to be an RV trailer there, the white one. Near, what is it? Hogan's Alley. So, quick distance check just for the sake of it. About a mile, 1.5 miles, bit over, 1.50. Okay. So they might have seen it or heard it, right? What about the other one? .53 miles, once again, said kind of equal from one another. And yet if they didn't see or hear anything, yet the people did down here on the day Dylan was present, they must have been closer, I would say, or just directly looking in the right direction for it to happen. I don't know if there's anything more I can add there. I mean, Tacoma Road, is it actually named on Google? I don't know. Tacoma Road. Yeah, It's a named road. Yeah, here. I just wanted to do that because, as said, there's a couple of places, whether it be maybe a wash, a name of one, whether it be a bar like Area 52. You try typing it in, it just does not come up. You try typing it on Google, doesn't exist. But with this one being known and mapped, that's something at least just confirm it is the correct road. So I think that's really it on the looks of it. Okay, so as I said, hopefully I covered it as best as I could. We are not finished whatsoever, so don't go anywhere. There are still more things to talk about, okay? Hopefully that doesn't slide too much. I don't want it to be too repetitive what we, looked at. I wanted to add in new fresh points and stitch it all together. Once again, what we have done, we've covered stuff from the past. We've learned about things as we've gone along, and I myself have looked back or heard and listened back at previous stuff mentioned, put it all into one. Even if it be contrasting, even if it be the odd rumour or so, just piece it all together in one. From learning about it at such different times, back and forth, yet it made sense in a way. And I think that's probably with the help of the map, right? You think about it, just think about it for a second. When you had the Moscow Idaho 4 case, the usage of maps, blueprints to the house, the floors, the layers, the depth, which room, who was where was what, that type of stuff, crime scene. You're mapping it out. Some people use that virtual room tour of the house to see how it looked visually, giving their own thoughts and ideas of saying, oh, maybe that person was on that floor, the other person was on the other floor, that's why they couldn't hear some of the sounds, and then some other person that may have come across the killer, their life was spared for whatever reason. Trying to theorize at the time before the breakthrough of events, right? It happened there. It's what's happening here with Google Earth. So when you get all these rumors, okay, and you can apply it yourself, okay, so this is yet another tactic. Just as I mentioned earlier, make sure to rewind back to listen to that previous tactic I told you about. But the next tactic is, whether you apply it, if you're looking back at this case, or for future updates on this case, or for another case in the future, whatever it may be, okay? You hear a rumour, you hear some story of an event that took place, map it out on Google Earth, okay? Use the project, add the tool, pinpoint it, whatever, label it, give the date if possible, and then with time, maybe add to it. Or to prevent confusion or things being cluttered up, what I would suggest, you create a project for a particular event or chain of events, and then fast forward on, you create another separate project for another event, another theme, another topic. And then what you can do, because Google Earth allows you, then you can merge all projects together afterwards so they're all visible on the same page at once. You just load them all up at once, open in the project section. And then if you want to get rid of any, or get rid of them all, you go back into projects and you click on one of them and click hide project, okay? And sometimes as a baseline, you can pin a singular project, so it's just there all the time, so you don't even have to load it up. And if you've already got something pinned, if you do load up another project, the pinned one doesn't go away, it remains there. So that's why in this video you saw both all those markers in Lucin and also all the ones in that small space of Tacoma Road, right? And you can all tie it into one, stitch it all together. We dissect to begin with, and then we piece it together afterwards, right? It's like stretching the skin of leather, right? Whether it be Wes or Wes Leatherface, whoever, same person maybe Wes is Ed Gein. Stretch the leather, tan it, preserve it, treat the leather, stretch, whatever, certain process to it, right? The same with this case, right? Sounds a bit weird, but it's one way of looking at it. So there you go. Now, let's move on to the current situation of Montello and out and about, and I guess the Lucin area too as well, and the washes, okay? So, some of you will know, others will know externally, and some may not know at all. But one of the washes in Montello, which I guess is near to the border of Lucin, can't remember exactly what it was called, but I have mentioned it in a previous video, okay? No, I can't memorise it, but a wash flooded, right? I don't know if it was directly heavy rainfall or the snow itself. It was heavy flooding. And I can kind of understand it because the actual area itself, Montello, Lucin, even like, what would you call it? Jome Canyon, which is further away, but in Nevada still, so like with Montello, is that majority of the time, it can be very dry, it can be quite hot, right? There's positives with that, but also negatives, like drought-stricken, dried up ground, easier to search, right? And to explore, but maybe not so good on wildlife and crops, hence why you look at Lucin, quite salty, the area, and that's even before Pancake's presence in there. You just look at the area, it's rough, rugged, okay? You look at ponds, not always filled up. You look at washes, dry, because that's like the style of them. I think it was Fast Eddie that might have worded it the best. It's kind of like just like dried up and only fills up when it's time, okay? So heavy rainfall or even snow. That's where we tie in with this, okay? You get that idea? We don't need to look at past images of this wash, which we did on Google Earth, because that's a previous video. If you want to check it out individually, feel free to do so. You should be able to find it. Instead, I want to share with you some more personal photos. Nothing dodgy. No. Nothing dodgy like that. No. If you want that, you go on Bella V's channel. Okay, don't worry. Shh. But just want to show you photos taken by Ellen of Montello, an area where obviously Dylan has been. An area what we've seen in the eyes of certain YouTubers like Pancakes and also on Google. These are of the time of 2017. We see what the damage that's been caused, how does it look, how does it appear? Because it could well happen again, and Ellenberg did suggest that possibilities. It's happened once, it can happen again, okay? If there's enough snow which melts, right, it can cause trouble. So I think we'll move on to the photos first of all, and then there is a video, and then after that, we move on to maybe some dodgy map time, okay, if you're on good behaviour. Right, to kick things off, this is the first image, and this is directly in the town of Montello. I believe looking at it that way, we'd be looking at it southwest. I think I'm correct in saying, kind of southwest. Yeah. So, as you can see, first of all, you got the road there, like the dirt road, I guess you could call it. You got a vehicle over there in the distance. Just behind that vehicle, I think that's the railroad track, okay? See the overhead lines there. And then here is like the neighborhood of Montello, portion of it. Like trailer homes, if you call it that, okay? You look at the ground. Can you see it's very muddy, but also looks like it's eroded. Very rough compared to what we have seen, of course, in footage, right? It's just the road itself is flooded. Not severely, but bad enough for it to happen. Considering it's not, well, at least this part maybe, not directly near a wash, but if it's travelled down or so. I think there's sandbags just there. Right? I mean, it could have looked even worse before this, right? Looks like a little bit of maintenance has gone on to try and deal with the blow. You see the water foaming up as well, right? See the dirt, it's very wet, very moist. But one of the important parts, I guess, to make note of, look here. If I'm correct in saying, this is like a mixture of ice, slush, and snow. Not a thick layer, but you can clearly see snow. Okay, so if you think about it, we got snow in Montello right now, correct? You know, If you had rainfall on top of it, I guess that would be a recipe for disaster on top of the snow melting, right? If the washers are filled up with snow too. One thing I just want to ask, aside from the mine shaft question, which I did bring up in the past, where people said mine shafts or caves so far deep within it, it's kind of warm, so maybe that prevents snow from filling up because it melts. But just a question towards you, the viewer. When you get the washers, right? The washers can be fairly wide and have a fair bit of depth to them, right? I don't know exactly how much, 20 feet deep? Was that a bit too extreme there? Deep enough, though, right? When it snows heavy, how much of the wash is filled up with snow? A lot? A bit? It's only because, obviously, if it does melt, the water then appears. And there's enough snow to be enough water. And if there's an excessive amount, it floods once again, right? And if for whatever reason you had rain on top of it, could end up with something like this. Now, one thing what I want to ask, whether it be Weezer or Alan, ever since 2017, sure, things have been repaired. The road, like infrastructure, buildings, railroad tracks, of course. But have any methods or implementations have been added since to prevent a future flood? Or has that not happened? You know what I'm saying? Normally, when there's a flood, like at least from my experience, when there's been a flood nearby, they fixed the grids or fixed the pipes underneath in the area to prevent it from overflowing again, getting rid of any dirt that could be clogging up the drains, that type of stuff. And then in some countries or some areas, they might add flood barriers in to prevent, people's houses, businesses being destroyed, having a supply of sandbags, maybe a quicker response time in the future. What's it like in Montello? Did anything get implemented, or is it still the same as it was back in 2017? Feel free to answer if you have the answer. Okay. Move on to the next image. Okay, so we zoom in for this one, right? Oh my God, there's a dog there. Look at that. Is that a husky? It looks like a husky. It appears you got like work trucks in the area with the cones as well. I mean, after having a flood, a fairly bad one, it being reported in the news as well and receiving coverage. But look at it. Looks like a pipe there or some kind of drainage system. Yeah. What do we have here? We've got I don't know, what's that one? Cowboy, is that Cowboy Bar and Grill? Can't quite read it from the side. It's just a text there. Cowboy Bar. Is that grill? It's hard to read sideways. Yeah, it will be the Cowboy Bar and Grill due to the shape and size of it. Yeah. But look at the ground there. Look how it's... I mean, I don't know if the water has caused this or if there was like some kind of like vehicle digger excavator that, dug up the ground to get to these like pipes, these mains to maybe drain them, to clean them. Because it's only in this small area, right? Maybe something was used to scrape at the ground. I mean, you can't see it like broken away here though. I mean, water can cause erosion, and a fast flow and a heavy current of it, yeah, it can be relentless and cause damage, of course. Is there anything else there? Any damage to the wood? Any rot? Can't quite see, but this is like the after effects. It's dried up. And then here we go. This appears to be... Is this the railroad track or just... No, it looks like possibly the highway, I think. You see the tarmac. It's not a dirt road. Look at the damage it's caused. And, yeah, okay, just to confirm, because I've just remembered. what we're looking at here, supposedly, we're down there being a wash. If you remember, or it'd be yesterday's video or the day before, when we were looking at high probability places and we first begun with the wash from Grass Creek or House Creek, however you say the name, following it down all the way into Lucin, okay, approaching Dylan's, well, the grain shed where Dylan parks his grain truck. Before that, we came across that highway, the road that looked like it went into the wash, but when we went on street view, it was an actual bridge. I probably can show you like a before and after in a second though. But yeah, I mean, look at the thickness of it. The thickness of the road. And it's just completely crumbled right in that middle part, all collapsed in on itself. A lot of damage, for sure. And there's the dog. And then the wash is down there. And of course, post-event, you'd never have known it flooded because look at the water level. It's almost non-existent. You can't really see. But yeah, there's the wash down there, which goes underneath this supposed bridge, comes out onto the other side. But I guess the force of the water just eroded it, so it just all collapsed on itself. And let's get up the other image of what I'm talking about of this area. Right, so yeah, you remember this area now, what we were talking about last time, looking at that wash down there? This, what we're looking at, is of that photo, what I just shared with you just then, of the whole bridge collapsing in on itself because of the flooding from the wash, the force of the water. Now I'm correct in saying this is an older image before it happened. So this is before 2017, I think. If that's wrong, correct me, but I'm just basing it off image quality, okay? Yeah. Just look the other way. So there you go. Hard to believe, right? And just completely destroyed because of the water. That's what I mean. The flooding and the strength of it, it can unearth stuff and it can make things move, which, when it comes to evidence, probably not always a good thing, right? Moving on to the next photo, we've got like another angle, as you see here. See the railing of the, I guess the bridge, it goes across, just completely ruined and destroyed. See how it's crumbled, not just this midsection here, but just on the other side over there as well. So the water's found its way through. And obviously, the width of the wash itself, the amount of water it can hold, does play a factor as well. It's completely flattened. A complete mess. I mean, would it happen again? I don't know. I don't know if the reinforced the road made it stronger. Flood barrier, flood resistant, I'm not quite sure. You can see the snow as well over there, still present. And in the mountains too. So with Montello right now, with the snow they have, is the snowfall greater now to how it was back then, or not as bad? Because that could be one way of determining the situation. Is that it? Yeah. Because the other thing to make note of, because whilst this is more to do with like what we were talking about with the wash, what we were looking at from Grouse Creek, near to Luray Wash, you had the flooding there as well, because that was impacted too. And that's where you had that railroad which went over the wash area, and that completely crumbled in on itself too. So it's not just one area impacted, it's many.
A lot of water coming across the road. Man. Some people on the side of the road stuck.
We're taking that in mind if one of the areas Dylan is supposedly buried at, concealed in some way or a piece of evidence, and you get the force of the water that unearths it, right? Because you look at the walls of the wash, at times it can be very crumbly, it can like break off, it's not that stable in some areas, which has been demonstrated previously before in footage. That force of that water could unearth it, right? It could erode stuff. It could cause bones to move about, shift. It could cause them to separate. I don't know, it could cause other bits of items, clothing, the gun maybe, to just be pushed away. There are positives and negatives to that, and we'll mention the negatives first of all. If it's a wash which has been investigated or still investigated by Candice Cooley or her crew of people, volunteers, and there are risk of flood, it could negatively, cause harm to that evidence. Could make it disappear, go elsewhere, and then you lose track of it. And then what do you do with the case of Dylan Rounds? It could have been valuable, but you didn't move it yet. You've lost key evidence yet more on top of previous stuff. That's one way of looking at it. Anything else? Just in general, that whilst things might be concealed, they could be revealed because of the flood, but they could be transported in the wrong direction or just be completely spread out, such as bones, if that was the case, right? You could say, well, how do bones separate? The weakness of them, maybe. If it's like splashing against rocks and stuff, it could crack, break off, snap, who knows? One bone could go that way, one bone could get lodged on there, and then another is transported all the way down there. So if you do find a bit of bone, you're not finding the full remains of Dylan, which is kind of messy, right? You get what I'm saying? The positive, though, and that's if the correct area is impacted and does flood, okay? It could reveal and unearth something that was previously buried, right? Because we have talked about that in the past, it could. And if it does, and something is there, then it should be revealed. And it could be helpful within the case. I don't know if it will happen exactly. I don't know exactly where it will be impacted or if it will flood whatsoever, but, some people have suggested and hinted at it, so, I guess what you got to take in mind, depending when it rained, from what people have said, some people have said, like with the forum that time, that it rained 5 to 6 early in the morning of Saturday, that it was going to rain soon, in the eyes of Candice Cooley, and what Dylan was supposedly saying, that's why he was going to park his grain truck in the grain shed. In the pole barn, also known as that same thing, right? I can understand that, but if it's already raining to begin with, then it's like, well, what are you going to do? It's already getting wet. Isn't it already ruined? You could think that. From what someone like Tom Evans said, and also to back it up, it sounds a bit silly this, but from what Kurt Wadsworth said in that interview, what I talked about, the part one, which I looked at earlier, Kurt mentioned about Dylan having like a tarp over his grain seed truck. Had a few holes in, but, bit of light rain, it would prevent it from getting wet. Okay. It sounds believable that. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not like going to reveal Dylan's location. It's just like a simple observation made from their knowledge. It's probably not a lie. You get what I'm saying? It's not an important point, so there's no reason to lie about it. So some tarp covering the grain truck, okay, understandable. You park it in, and then it rains afterwards, or it rains the next day. And with the current direction at this moment in time, shifting that it was Sunday, the 29th of May, when Dylan was disposed of. If it was raining at the time, let's just say, that may have altered how the suspect or suspects dispose of someone. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you knew that by burying someone in a wash when it's dry, when it does rain and when it does flood, it could unearth it. You'd probably avoid doing it maybe. But if you don't think that far ahead, you might actually do it at the time and literally bury the person there or some evidence, right? If it's raining there at the time, you might be thinking, oh, do we really want to be going down there? Do we really want to be doing that? It's a bit of a messy job, right? Is there any other easier alternatives? Let me know if you think that does play a role on the day of when disposing of Dylan impacted their choice, their handling of it. Leave your thoughts. But yeah, that's what my little prediction is, okay? My little prediction is, if it does unfortunately flood, whilst it's a negative for maybe the locals of Montello, which yeah, I get. If it does flood in the right places though, and maybe Lucin, it could unearth something. And if it's not a positive, it could destroy evidence, let's say. That's really the other possibility. The only other thing I would say is, from May to now, has it rained hard enough for any of the washes in the area to truly fill up? Or has that not happened for a while, okay? As far as floods go, 2017, supposedly not happened since to that extent. So it must require a fair bit of rainfall or something else that can produce water or turn to water, such as snow. So then that would follow on with the next question of, at least for locals of Montello, how much snow is considered too much in terms of risk of flooding? Because I heard Lance talk about it as well, saying that when the snow melts, it'll be good for the crops, but it could cause a bit of flooding. So leave your thoughts about all that stuff, okay? Let's now return back to the maps and see what other bits and bobs we can find. You ready? Right, so once again, here we are. We're a little bit too zoomed out. Oops. But I'm sure we can home in very quickly. Oh, there seems to be a recent search. Let's check what this is. So we've got a few places in Utah. I mean, where do we begin? We've got naughty dog training and boarding. So yeah, I'm speaking to everyone in the chat right now. Okay, you heard this squeaky little pair, okay, or the weird sounds in the background, and then all of the dogs in the chat have started howling away, right? Barking, losing control. Ellen Berg's dog's going on more walks than usual. Ellen not even having a choice, just being dragged along by the lead. Don't worry, we've got some training schools for naughty dogs. We've got Hannah's naughty dog training. Bit rough that, right? We've got some naughty donuts. We've got naughty corporation. And we've got Lady Lily's naughty pleasures. So we'll definitely take a look at some of these things, okay? So, let's take a look at Naughty Donuts. Because I did see recently in one of the live chats, people were talking about, you better bring the donuts. Now, I don't know how that came into the conversation, whether it be the Shack lady saying she was going to do a live stream outside one of the police stations, maybe, possibly. But we'll take a look at Naughty Donuts. What's it all about? What's so naughty about them? Are they deep filled with cream? Oh, you treating people. We've got some, like, donut balls. Yeah, look a little bit burnt, though. Some hard balls. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh. Look at that. We've got some, like, square-shaped ones. Yeah, look at the colours. Just look at them. Wow. Amazing. I mean, it looks like we've got powdered sugar on that. Could that be a berry one, maybe? A candy style one? Cream. Yeah, with a leaf on too. Nice. Oh, we even got a shelf of them. Oh, wow. Wow, have you seen the contrast here? We've got a very wide hole in the donut. And then this donut, look how tight that hole is. It's called Glazed and Confused. I mean, I think you definitely would be confused if you had to had to face such an obstacle, right? You know, if you're in a situation, or let's just say Wes was, you're dealing with such a tight hole, how are you supposed to operate? You know, you can't go all the way. Maybe so far, but it's going to be a bit of a push, right? Though, you're dealing with a purple haze, in brackets, girlfriend with a big hole. That girlfriend with a purple haze has been used already, because you can clearly see the change of it. So, welcome to this donut shop where you can see what has been used and what hasn't. Sprink me. Oh no, I've just realised these donuts, the reason why they're called naughty donuts is because they've got dodgy names. Oh yeah, sprink me. Yeah, sprinkle me with your magic stuff. Yeah. Not in the hole. No, don't sprinkle me in the hole, but around the outside, please. Glazed and confused. Well, it's because it's pancakes. Pancakes get a facial, you know, just like what I said. Getting a nasal massage is exactly what I need, but on top of it, a happy ending of a glazed, confused facial really hits the spot. Exactly. Black Mamba. Oh, you're going dark. You're taking it dark. Okay, calm down. Calm down. It says vegan, okay? Purple haze. Okay, let's move on. I think we've analysed this deep enough. Oh my god, what's that off? What the hell? Ew. What the fudge, in brackets, girlfriend. So it basically means what the fuck. I mean, I'd be saying the same thing too, because it's a bit thin in certain areas. Do we have any more dodgy names? Oh, we do. Prince Harry? Oh, what the hell's going on there? Oh my god, where's Meghan at? I bet some people in the chat, because I know some people in the chat, I don't know if it was Linda Cushing or someone else, but they were talking about the Harry and Meghan documentary. We've got the Twisted Sister. Hey, Stebro, I'm twisted. Can you untie me? I really need loosening. Grab the oil, please. There you go. Look, you see it's all twisted, just like your mind. We've got the face shot. Oh no, that's why all the cream's on it as well, like a face shot you've been sprayed. We got the what the hell. Okay. We got, yeah, purple haze, glazed and confused. We've got, yeah, okay, so we've seen them. Some dodgy names. Oh, you've been there. Right, you've been getting a few donuts. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but I'm not. Come on, don't kill me with the suspense. Oh, what are these? Just the tips. Ah, yeah. Just on the tip, on the head. Yeah, just the tips, little balls. Twisted Sister, the Naughty D. Oh yeah. This is too much. My God, Stoney. I hope you're still with us right now. I hope you're still alive. Don't die yet. So we've got the is anyone going to take an order of the Naughty D? Okay. We've got the Beebs. What the hell's the Beebs? I'm not quite sure. We've got the Pucker Up. Oops. Wait, why is it two balls? Oh no, the balls are dripping. Pucker up. Is that with the lips? Wait, are you supposed to be kissing the balls? Or you put the balls in your mouth? Do you put them both in at the same time or just one? I don't know. No, I'm literally talking about these donuts. I'm not talking about the other activities which other people might get up to, but like, I know it's a play on words. Maybe I'm thinking too deep. Yeah, okay. Menace à Trois doesn't exist. Joseph has bought them all. He's been experimenting, hasn't he? Wait, what was that one? Oh, we got the missionary. Yeah, change of position for once. Yeah, all about changing it up, right? Isn't that right, Maria? Anyone in the chat right now that wants to do missionary? And I don't mean reading a verse from a Bible. Okay, let's get on in. Maybe the Mormons will try some missionary donuts. You know, change their ways, their pathways. It might help. And then we've got the American Pie. Oh my God, that's so original. Isn't that right, girls? This is perfect. This is just perfect. Oh God, the cherry's been popped in the hole. Or is that what's coming out of the hole? Oh shit, I think it's the wrong time of the month. Damn, you should have timed it. You know, it's just not meant to be. And was it? We've all. Why does this always remind me of them with the holes? Fuck off. Ooh, that's a bit brown. Oh no. Oh, Stony, this one's got hemorrhoids. Look at it, all around the ring. All these like craters and bumpy lumps. Stony, you got to twitch your nose. Yeah, I know you said you want $5 for a twitch of the nose, but this time it's a matter of emergency. You got to do it now. It's leaking. That's not good. Is that it? Oh, okay. Oh, hang on a minute. Linda. Oh, Linda taking the photos of the donuts. Oh, Linda Cushing. Naughty, what are you doing with those donuts? Huh. Never do. Okay. Is there anywhere else we need to take a look at? Well, of course. What about naughty dog training? Hannah's naughty dog training. Let's take a look. No photos, probably because it's not safe for work. Okay. Let's look at Lady Lily's pleasures. Oh, it's a clinic. Wait, a clinic? Are you going to get stimulated? Oh my God, naughty pleasures in the middle of the ocean. Wow, things are going to get wet. Oh, there's no images. What a shame. What a shame. Oh well. My channel survives another day without any dodgy images. Okay. So I think we're already on a roll, right? I mean, what new heights can we reach? What about Kurt? Kurt's cleaning service. Oh no, Kurt, I didn't think you were going to downgrade there. We got Kurt Banger. Radiology. Oh God, I wouldn't trust him for treatment. Kurt Built. General contractor. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on, Kurt. Show me what you got. Some construction. Yeah, it'll do, man. I've seen better. Is that it? God. Even Mountain Labs Fortress. Alan has got better construction going on than this. Come on. You got to work on it, man. Literally. Okay. Well, if we type in bitch, what comes up? South Bitch Creek. Yeah, come on, girls. Bitch Creek in Wyoming. Wyoming. How do you say it? Wyoming. Okay, great. But once again, no fucking images, is there? Of course there isn't. I mean, I know I typed in Stoney's name, but did we actually type in Utah Stony? Stony Brook, Stony Creek. Yeah. Stone Canyon. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Brenda. Yeah. Actually, how about Joy Perry? Yeah. What about Joy? Did I say Joy Popsicles? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. We got the dojo, Perry's martial arts. Come on. That really explains it. Joy Perry, while she might do speech to text, there will be no confusion when it comes to hands to face with a kung fu chop. Yeah, Joy Perry, you know exactly what you're doing. How about we look at some Ty Corbin, okay? There we go, Ty Drift. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, bring it on, Ty Drift, Ty Grill, Bangkok Grill. Oh, yeah, Spicy Ty. Oh, no, Ty Corbin's gone a bit spicy. Oh, no, Maria, it's your calling. Spicy Thai time. Ty Corbin. Here we go. Starcasm TV. Better be ready, okay? Open up your puppet's mouth and get ready to eat some hot food. Or maybe not. What the hell's that? Ew. Oh my. What is that? Ew. And some little crumbled breadcrumbs or crushed nuts. Ty likes crushing his nuts in the food. Okay, we got, is that bean sprouts, a bit of cheese, some green stuff. Obviously, I wouldn't know what green stuff is because I don't really eat much of it. We've got some rice on the side. Oh, I've got some very nice rice. Nice price for a good price. Yeah. Oh, you want some rice? Come here. Okay, can we see a bit more what's going on inside? Okay. A bit of a wooden floorboard, a bit creaky. Yeah. A little bit boring, a little bit quiet. Oh, I got the rice, very rice. Oh, I got the dips. Oh my God, the dip is almost unfull. That's not good. We talk about a glass half full or a glass half empty. This is a pot half unfucked. Where's the rest? We need the rest. And speaking of unfucked, I remember Weedleby recently, she said that she needs to unfuck herself. Why? Why you need to unfuck yourself? I think maybe it's just a matter of focus. You know, if you don't focus, you don't get what you want. You don't get what you need. Focus with time, focus with energy. You know, if you're struggling with the cork, yeah, Weedleby, you're struggling with the cork. Well, you just got to consume it at a slower rate. More focus, more cork. Okay? Coca-Cola. Come on, Coca-Cola. My God, you know, what are you thinking? You know, it's very simplistic, you know. Oh, we've got some ginger there, yeah. Does anyone have ginger hair in the chat? I don't know. Actually, it was Maria. Maria said, ginger, they have no souls. What can you do, Maria? Fucking Lucifer. My God. I bet you got a pentagram tattooed on your back, Maria. Probably got all claw marks as well when Lucy decided to get a little bit naughty. Yeah. Got some little lemon and lime to drizzle it. Come on. There we go. Spicy Thai. Not too many visitors. A little bit of a shame. Okay. What was that saying? It Sunday closed. Okay. Seating ends 45 minutes before closing to orders only after that time. So basically, you know, if you're still in there after that time, you get locked in. Ooh, you're not going to escape. No, you're not. What the hell's that? Ew. It's wet. It's looks sweet, but very wet. Ew. No. Oh, we got the spring rolls, or we got the duck rolls, whichever ones. Very nice, very nice. You know, if it's a duck roll, it could be very raw, it could be quacking as your mouth. Can I do a duck? I don't know if I can do a duck sound. I don't know. Might sound like someone's constipated. But we've got a dip. We've got a Thai chili special dip. Okay, nice. Oh no. That looks like what was in Weedleby's car. Sick everywhere. Okay, more ginger. We got the ginger obsession and the chili powder. Oh no. Harry, please do not get PTSD flashbacks, Harry. That time when you got chili in your eye, you know, and you were crying repeatedly. You were crying more times than I cried when I was watching the Kurt Titanic, when Kurt was on the edge of the boat holding onto the horse for dear life because he didn't want to let go. He didn't want to see the horse drown in the water. No, even when the ship was sinking. Poor Kurt Titanic. Oh no. Anyway, the tears go away very quick as I move on. Yeah, come on, Ty. You got the elephants. Forget about the horses. They're not on the same level as the elephants. There's more elephants in a fucking Thai restaurant than there is in the fucking zoos. My God! There's been more elephants in these restaurants than that recent visit, as you would have seen Mama Down Under, of Lance Kelly and his family going to the Hoddle, Waddle, whatever you call it, zoo in Utah. My God! Yeah, you go, Nelly the elephant. Oh no, it's a GMC. Cut. Raw. Okay. I mean, Maria is going to have a perfect time with all this food. She can put a lot in. Oh my God, what's this? A bingo card. Buy 12 entries, get one free. Way, we got the bingo. Yeah, Pancakes advertising it with that, what was it, Mystic Hand. Oh, did I get the wrong person? Who would have called? Oh, tainted ink, tainted love. I don't know what the hell they're called, but basically they do a little bingo night. There you go. You got your free little bingo card. You get 12, you get one free, and if you win, you get a fucking slap round the face at spicythaiprovo.com. Restrictions apply. One stamp per entry purchased at regular price. Cannot combine or redeem with other coupons or specials. You heard that right, Shack Lady. You cannot combine them together. Yeah, you want 100%? Well, you ain't getting it, girl. No, not on my watch. Not even on Ty's chili watch. Tough shit, Shack. Okay. What does it say? May discontinue this promotion at any time without prior notice. Oh, Ty. Such a tight arse. So you're just going to cut the entry price. You're just going to cut this whole raffle off whenever you like. God, that's not right, man. No, not even this. It's completely dry. Ew, a little bit of broccoli, a little broccoli boy. No, that's not me. Okay, so that's the end of that. Very, very interesting, I would say. Groundbreaking discoveries, Utah. I mean, you know, Gorilla Jack. Yeah, okay, some of you might have heard, others may have not. Can I do a Gorilla Jack impression? I could try. It's like, hello. Yes, this is me, Gorilla Jack. Yes, Joseph Lloyd. I've been looking for you. Yes, you've been touching my banana. You do not reach around. Good day. Hello. Did that sound kind of like Gorilla Jack? If so, quite good, because in the making since 2019, well, back in 2019, I was playing a medieval game called Mordhau on PC Steam, and there was actually a character voice that sounded like that. So it kind of prepared me for the future of what I was going to come across, because I never knew in my lifetime I'd be face-to-face meeting a literal walking gorilla. Okay? Very, we're reaching new levels. So you might be thinking, what else is there left to type in? Punchy, maybe? Oh, there's no Punchy. What a shame. Isn't it? Now, didn't it say Punchy Piercing or something? Maybe we'll never find out. Oops. Unless we do a very dodgy search. Utah Punchy Chitty. What the hell's that? Oh, no. Here we go. We got Punchy Sindo. We got Punchy Takataka Hikadua. We got the Xiao Punchy Coffee. We got the Indu Punchy, which is a housing complex. We got the Uniglob Enterprise Punchy Pitakakwatiwa. Okay. Pina. That must be the opposite end. So what do you want to do? Yeah? I think it's worth going to the cafe. We go to the Punchy Coffee place. Okay? Maria? You're in? Of course you are. Stoney? Yeah. Wes? Of course, because that's all he goes for. Just like Maria. Ooh. Anyone else? Linda? Oh, no. You've got sense, Linda. Yeah, high IQ. You're too busy with your Cushing's cabin and brewery. Yeah, moving on to better things. Don't worry. The rest are coming down to Punchy Coffee Place. Okay, so get your orders in right now. Get your Punchy, okay? You want it raw? You want it flavoured? You want it a bit fishy? Well, I'm sure they can deliver it in all different ways. Okay? Oh, look, there you go. Wow, look at that Punchy. That is overflowing, and the one next to it is frothing. See? You got all different kinds, okay? Hopefully we get to see the menu. Got a couple of plants as well. Is that really necessary? I don't know. Oh my God, why is that watering can? Why is that fucking hose bit bent down? Oh no. Oh no, Wes. This can't be right. As you said, Wes, when you wake up, it doesn't look anything like that. It's pointing downwards. Something's wrong. But don't worry. I'm sure when you come round, that water head of the watering can will be pointing right up to the North Star. Yeah, don't worry. Oh no, those Chinese lanterns. God, what a health hazard. They're going to burn down the place with all this dry wood. Oh no. Oh God. Is empty? What the hell's that? Oh God. I don't know what that lumpy stuff is in the coffee. Oh my God, is that punchy gone off? Ew, is that punchy? Having it's developed already? Oh no. Espresso, suppresso, depresso. Come on, bring it on. Some water as well. Oh yeah, the little moped boys. Yeah. A booker. Booker what? Yeah, you get a little hat with it as well. Come on, ride the moped. Yeah, feel the vibrations for the seat of it. Oh, look at that, very fresh, very fresh. So fresh, it's just come walking out of the sea. What a poor prawn. Yeah, very nice. Good, good. Oh, God, look at this punchy. Extra thick, punchy. Oh, my God, look how deep that is. My God, someone has extracted a lot of that. Maria? Wow. Oh, yes, we've got the punchy menu. The snacks, curly fries, potato wedges, French fries, lumpia mini, the tahu jarot, the matagbak undang, the otak crispy, the honey chicken wings, the tahu walik, the kaju aroma, cake of the day. Kindly check our atalasi. Okay, special menu of the day. Kindly check in our bar. Everyone's favourite, mi ramen katsu, mi kwa tekak, mi horong tekek. Okay, food, salmon mentai hentai, chicken hentai, beef hentai, dismun hentai, spaghetti brulli, spaghetti chicken wings. What the fuck, spaghetti chicken wings? What? Creamy mushroom katsu pasta. And you see some of them have got thumbs up and some of them have got little chilies. Okay. Our best seller. Great. Okay. There we go. So I guess that's the chicken with the pasta stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, Stony, you know, all pasta's the same, right? Oh my God, all the Italians are going to get triggered. There's going to be World War III. God, what have I caused? Okay, so we've got some, is that French toast or just toast in general? Yeah, some tea. Okay. What's that one? Bit of rice, some beef, maybe some cucumber. Bon appetit. Oh my God, they're speaking French. Wow. Camus catchy. Okay, so join us for Warlight Raf's language class as I learn to pronounce words in whatever language that is. Saya dipasakan oleh bahasa Indonesia yang pintar dan lucu walau kudang rumit dan membungkukkan ia mengajar saya cara menggarang ilmu sisik. Oh, had to stop myself from saying that word then. Saya tahu bahwa sumber segala kisah adalah kaca. Bahwa ingin bawal daya anggan. Bahwa ibu tak pernah kadang iba. Bah seagull yang bak akan babrak. Bahwa orang ramah tidak TikTok mudah marah. Bahwa siwang bintang harus tahan bantang. Bahwa untuk menjadi gagal kau ras cici. Bahwa di lampu pam bisa berkrit clickbait hampa bahwa orang twikwak kipan hantu kita mabang kapan tuhan. Bahwa pamarung tidak penuh kunida yudhara bingchiling hudera bingchiling jimbera chingdarkono pamarung tidak TikTok Pelna Marissa gambling addiction Ellenberg Bahwa Lida Mamang Pandi Panda Fat Raf Bedella Bahwa Sinta Mabuai Dera Barawang Reda Bahwa Orangutan Pussy Putters Asa Suki Suk Mai Mengalang Usu Bahwa Yang Tarat Dimi Iman Mijiji Kunim Marissa. Oh, Marissa Aman. Oh, Marissa. Calm down, Marissa. Calm down. Joku Pinoru 2014. Wow. That really brought a tear to my eye then. That was really emotional. Oh my God. We've got some books there as well. Human trafficking. Oh, human transformation. Same thing, right? We've got a radio there. Oh, ting, ding, bong, bing, bang, dong, wong. No, I'm not going to get called something. Oh my God! In Indonesia, we got a dartboard. Yeah, and it's a magnetic one, of course, because if it had a spike tip. Maria. Oh, Maria, if she was there after that punchy, she would be aiming those darts right at other bullseyes, right? Yeah, Maria. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh wow, this is so natural. It's in a cardboard bug surrounded by nature of mother. Wow. That's really, really nice. We have some little pickled pipple pips and spicy peppers. Great. And some big dips as well. What's this? Okay. Yeah, looks colourful. Different coloured benches. That's great. Secret little shot. I bet that person's trying to take a little dodgy photo of that person in the background. No, 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 no. Order and pay. Yeah, we've got the dodgy knockoff little cat with its paw goes up and down. The kitty cats. Come on, super chats. I'm going to get a kitty cat paw waving over here. Oh. Ayam Goreng Pandang Kobe Garam 17k. Oh my God, $17,000? God! I know it's a conversion rate, but it doesn't really matter, man. $17,000. God, inflation has gone past that point. My God, this is too much. Oh my God, we've got the rocks. I'm sure that's like a secret passageway. Indiana, come on, Indiana, get your whip out. I mean, it's time to start exploring this place. It's more than what meets the eye. Just like this. What the hell's that? Oh, we got the prawn crackers or something with a pop in your mouth. What the hell? Cucumbers got seeds in. I never knew cucumbers had seeds in them. Oh. And is that it? Oh, well. I think that's enough fun for today. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Okay, so I think that rounds it all off for today. A lot of stuff to take in mind. Bear in mind, if you're just joining in right now or you have done kind of beforehand, make sure to rewind back to the start, the beginning, where we specifically focused in on Dylan Rounds, the witnesses on the 25th with the Chase Fenster situation and Dylan picking him up, as well as the 27th later on at night with the campers in Lucin and the weird patterns and, you know, locations of where could they be and why are they there and stuff, etc., as well as looking at and covering the 2017 floods in Montello with actual images provided by a Montello local, in addition predicting and suggesting that it could happen again, which could lead to evidence being disrupted, disturbed. Make sure to rewind earlier to get an idea of those photos too, okay? Now, I think what we can do, because I think what we'll do is end it there, because I'm just thinking of the time as well. Yeah, okay. I guess the next video might be a bit shorter. It depends, as I said, right? Because of those little bitty bits to cover. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and good night for now.